So I'll do a quick video of two of the bikes I got. Right here we got a KLR650 and then the VFR800 right there. I'd say this is about the perfect combo because you got the VFR, it's good for some long distance rides. It's more on the sport side of the sport touring. And then the KLR is pretty much what I'd say the epitome of a dual sport. Bare bones reliability, single piston, carbureted. Really nothing to go wrong with this thing. It's been unchanged for decades. A couple of things I did to it. SW Motec crash bars, SW Motec skid plate, some bark busters with some LED turn signals integrated on them. Just a little more visibility. Rig gear tank bag. Some off-brand bars in the back with, again, rig gear. Those are my tubes. Usually just carry the 21-inch tube with some spoons in there. Right there is a Harbor Freight box at the top for the top box. And right there I've got my tool tube, and you can see it's got plenty of room to clear on the tire. See, I just got back from riding this one. It's a little dirty, but you got plenty of travel on this. I've got some taller links that I got from Eagle Mike. I'm 5'11", but I went back to stock just because when I was off-roading they're a little bit too tall. I said this bike is solid up to about 75-80. I usually have the 15 front tooth sprocket, and then if I go for long distance, I'll go to a 16 and carry a 14 for the trail. So these are probably the most critical thing because they pivot and allows me to get my foot underneath the shifter. Because I got some, I think Terraforma boots I wear, so it's pretty tight in there. I said this is what I would say the perfect dual sport bike. You can get them cheap for $2,500. I think that's what I paid for this one. Maybe like 28, somewhere around there. They got the new model out, which has, I think, ABS and fuel injected. One more thing here, I've got the lens protector, just so I don't take a rock. Like I said, it's been a great bike. The only thing you got to do is the doohickey, and then I took all the emissions junk off there. I said the bikes now are so heavy, it's almost the point where you can't ride them. Where this one I could still do single track on it. And here's the VFR. I got the fairing off. I just did a sprocket and a chain on it. I said a lot of people love these. They have a huge following. My main issue with them is the VTEC. The VTEC's it's kind of cool because you hit it and it kind of feels like you got a boost of speed. The problem is that's where you're really only getting your power. You see I got some sliders right there. I've got the Delta Vic exhaust. I put the full exhaust on this with the cat delete. Some adjustable grips, different bar ends. I got a Power Commander 5 with auto tune. It's mandatory to change out the exhaust. Now with these bikes, you got the link brakes. So if you're used to riding and you've been riding for a while, you're gonna hate them. You cannot trail brake on this bike because they're linked, so you can't modulate the pitch of the bike like you normally would when you come in a little hot in a corner and you just trail brake in. You can modulate, the pitch of the bike either up or down depending on what you're doing as far as to correct the attitude of the bike. Link brakes, I said you cannot control how much is going to the front or the back. They're linked. And then you got the VTEC, which this one I think kicks in at 6,800, and I'm not sure when it kicks back out, but basically you're making horsepower up to about 10,000, 11,000 on this bike, so you really only have 3,500 or so RPMs of actually hitting full power on it. So it's a little more difficult to ride with the gear changes. You gotta mind the VTEC. So these tires I got are the Road 5s. They're pretty good tires. You can see how close I got it over to the edge there. They got some extreme grip. I went up to Three Sisters. This bike handled pretty good. The suspension's a little soft. As I raised the forks or drop the triple tree, depending on how you want to look at it, just make it turn in a little quicker. And you can see the front of it. I said this is a 2008. I think they made changes in 2006 or so. They updated the VTEC as far as when engaged and disengaged. You got the radiators on the side here. It makes it a little bit wider. I said all in all, it's a great bike. A lot of guys do mods on these. You got the pair system, delete, the flapper and the snorkel. I had all three of those done, but I put the snorkel back in and I hooked up the flapper just because my low end power is being affected. I said all in all, these are great bikes, both of them, the VFR and the KLR. But you just gotta take the VFR for what it is. It's no sport bike, but it's pretty close. As far as my background, I started on, I think, a Honda Hurricane 600. Then I had a Yamaha Seika, I want to say it was a 900. CBR 900, 929, 954, 1000. Tail like Hondas. One R1 tossed in there. I would still love to get an 05, the famous K5 motor. But I said, for what they are, the seat position is really comfortable on this. It's like sitting on a couch, but it does not compare to this. I mean, I could ride all day long on this thing. No back pain at all. This the most comfortable bike. You could toss it around. It basically handles like a dirt bike. It's, you kind of forget about the weight. The tank is pretty high up, but I mean, I forget how much this thing weighs when you ride it because it just allows you to toss around like a dirt bike. I said the VFR, as far as sport bikes, yeah, it's definitely not. It's got some good speed, but a lot of guys get into this expecting it to be fast. It is, but it's no sport bike. So keep that in mind if you're looking at them. I mean, it'll still do. I think the fastest I got this one up to was like 130. Saw 2 track days with it. I was kind of disappointed in it just because I've only had the bike for 6 months, still getting used to it. The link brakes were driving me crazy on it. That's my main issue. I'm looking into delinking those. And if you're a new rider, I wouldn't recommend it because it really saves you from locking up the rear. If you panic brake and grab the front, it'll pretty much save you. But like I said, if you trail brake, it messes you all up. I said, I highly recommend a VFR for the price. These are going for like $2,500 for the Gen 6. You can get them a little bit cheaper. Just look them over real good. Most of these are maintained pretty well because you don't have anyone pretending like they're Rossi on this thing, tearing them up. Usually, I mean, it's older guys. That's where I'm at, unfortunately, now. Back's getting a little tore up, so no more sport bikes for long distance. Like this one, I think the furthest I rode was 750, 800 miles in a day, and that was about it, but still pretty comfortable. I said just a quick little rundown of the bikes I got. I said, highly recommend the VFR. I've got several years. The newer ones, they're pretty much the same. They haven't really changed that much. And the KLR, I said I got the new ones out. Really the only change is a little bit cosmetic. Kind of looks like a transformer. And then you got fuel injection and ABS is the major thing. Like I said, I consider this to be the perfect combo bike. If you want to go out and hit some trails up in the forest, you got the KLR. If you want to go tear up some canyons and not kill yourself trying to get there, you know, try riding an R1 for 500 miles straight. Whereas this, I mean, you can ride all day, get there, and still tear up the roads.